People might watch your videos, but do they actually care? There's no loyalty, no community, just random views on the internet that never relate to more dollars in your pocket. If you compare that to someone like NELK, they have the most diehard fan base on the face of the planet. Their fans don't just work, those fans buy anything that NELK sells, leading to them doing $25 million plus merch drop.
One was like $13 million in like 22 minutes. No, gross revenue.
Compared that to NELK, they have people quoting their content, living by their brand. It's not just a channel to a lot of people. It is an identity. And I can assure you, none of what NELK did was luck. It was completely strategic. And I'm going to go over NELK's full strategy, how they went from the hero journey of starting out with just two guys doing pranks to building one of the most diehard fan bases on the face of the planet, which led them to making generational wealth. Then I'm going to show you how you can use those same principles to maybe do that for yourself. So the first step is NELK makes you fall in love with the characters, not just the videos. Most of NELK's fans are going to click on one of NELK's videos regardless of what the title and thumbnail is, because they've come to know, like, and trust the people in the show. And I use that term purposefully. NELK is treating their channel like it is a TV show where you fall in love with the characters. Every single character has their own place in the show, where they all have a personality that they stick to. Someone like Steiny, everybody hates, and it's fun to hate on him, and he plays into that role. And if you really break it down, every single person in NELK's show has a certain archetype that they are all playing by, just like any TV show would. That is the emotional glue that holds the entire video series together, that makes your content so bingeable, so lovable, and at the end of the day, make people buy into whatever it is that you're selling. Every single crew member brings a different energy, and over time, the audience gets emotionally involved. That is so crucial if you are building a YouTube channel. You can't just be thinking in terms of the best content strategy in the entire world. You could have the best editing, the best titles, the best thumbnails, and that's so important. But if people don't care about you, then it doesn't fucking matter. There's a huge difference between content and connection. And what NELK has done so well is bring the emotional connection. The first part of NELK is they make you fall in love with the characters. The second part is every single video feels like an episode. You can watch any NELK video on its own, and it's going to be exceptional. But if you start to watch a few, you will notice the inside jokes, the ongoing storylines, the reoccurring characters and callbacks from different time periods. And what that does is reward longtime fans. That creates the hyper super fan base that is repping a Happy Dad shirt and a full send hat. And for new viewers, it makes them binge to catch up so they can feel like they are part of that tribe. The third is they always deliver the proper emotional payoff. And what I mean by that, whether it's tension, laughter, a shock factor, some sort of victory, NELK never leaves you hanging. There is never a clickbait moment. They always focus in on over delivering. Whatever you click on, you know that you are going to be wildly more entertained than you thought that you were going to be when you were promised by the title and thumbnail. Every single time they build something up, the payoff is actually better than what you expected, which is so rare in content because most people are trying to maximize short-term clicks, but that might hurt them 2 years down the line. And that trains the viewers to say, if I keep watching, I know that I'll probably get dopamine payoff in the future. And that is all subconscious that you can't train, that you can't watch a retention graph and see. This is just making better videos, and you always know what you're going to get. This is so important. A lot of people, when they're making videos, they are going to do 100 different formats. If you're starting a business channel, they start with sit down talking head, then they do a business vlog, then they do an interview, then they do something completely different. That trains the viewer to never expect what's coming. Where a great show, any reality TV show that you watch, you always subconsciously know the emotional payoff that you get. And that is so important in the subconscious when someone decides to watch a video, because they know the emotional state that they're in, and they know the emotional state that they had the last time they watched one of this person's videos. So for NELK, the last time someone's watched a NELK video, they knew the emotional payoffs that they had, and NELK always delivers on that exact same thing every single time. It is repeatable, which makes it to where you can build trust. When you click on their video, you know what you're getting, which makes it more clickable and more bingeable. Most videos are structured in the same manner, where they always have an intro that you come to know, like, and actually watch, and they are printing money on those ads that they give. And then they are always going to be building tension. After the tension, some sort of chaos explodes. And then there's usually some sort of plot twist or comedic relief. And this structure creates a rhythm that an audience can get addicted to. It might be chaos, but it always has a predictable payoff. And that, what I just said, is really, really important. You can't just have a super chaotic video and do a bunch of crazy shit and think you are going to build this same audience. That's not true. You always have to deliver a predictable payoff, because what makes someone turn their subconscious brain on when they're watching and get someone glued to the TV is them emotionally knowing what is coming next. The next thing is they really have been doing this for such a long period of time, and their journey was relatable. It is the ever so often hero's journey that so many movies and shows are based upon. I mean, they started as kids doing dumb pranks. Now they've grown and they're millionaires with their brand, fans, and all the power. So the viewers didn't just watch, they actually grew with them. So one of the takeaways is it doesn't matter where you're starting. If you can start to understand these concepts, and I know that it's very difficult, that's why such few creators are rising to the utter top. It is my job to grow the YouTube channels and social medias of some of the largest business owners in the world with the entire intent of monetizing their audience. And NELK is one of the best case studies in the entire world of building an audience that would buy anything from them. And it is their raw authenticness where they are showing their struggles, very open about it, and their wins. It makes people root for them. So if someone was going to replicate this for themselves, step one would be building it around people and not just topics. You have to get down your unique edge. For the business owners I work with, I try and see what is their unique credibility that is going to allow us to dominate any space that they're in. Step two is the viewer has to know what they are going to get. When you make a video, you always have to be focusing on over-exceeding expectations, because that is so rare in today's society. But they have to get the emotional payoff that they were going to your channel for, and that has to be consistent across every single video. If it's education, then they have to feel educated after your. Next step is just understanding the basics of making a good video and how to increase retention on your videos by hooking people fast, building tension, having an objective for the video, increasing stakes, trying to spike the dopamine with some sort of big shock factor, having the resolve, basically understanding how to make a video, which takes time. So the next thing is primal branding, which is a signal that makes people believe in what you're doing and makes them feel like they are belonging to something bigger and want to follow whatever movement you are doing. And I made a very important video on everything you need to understand about primal branding. If you watch this next video, you can see how all of the biggest influencers use something called primal branding to build their cult-like audiences.